My name is Steve Kutcher, and I'm the Spider-Man behind Spider-Man. Part of my job was tracking down spiders. There was a good month or two of actual making phone calls. I was calling everybody I knew who was in the spider business where I thought I would have a reasonable chance to get spiders. And it wasn't just getting spiders. What I had to be able to do was get duplicate spiders when I needed them on cue. So if somebody said, oh, I've got 3 spiders, well, that's no good. I said, could you get some more? Well, maybe. That's no good. So I had to be able to go to somebody who could say, oh, I've got 20 spiders and I can get you 20 more if you need them anytime. And I actually had to get permits, USDA permits, state permits, to import spiders from New Zealand for the movie. And that was a big deal. And you don't do that overnight. A lot of people say, oh, I'll go out in my backyard and get some spiders. I've got lots of them. But when it's raining and it's cold in the wintertime, you're not going to find too many spiders, especially ones that are large enough to use for a movie like this. So it's quite challenging. One of the scenes calls for a spider to bite Peter Parker, and as you can well imagine, if a tarantula was webbing down from above onto his hand, he would probably notice it. So a large spider was not on the agenda, and I had to track down small spiders that would work. We actually picked a variety of spiders, and one of the spiders we picked is a steatoda. The spider is a small spider, and we had it actually webbed down from the ceiling. I was in charge of the spiders for the movie Arachnophobia. In that movie, we used a spider called Delana canceroides, which is a giant crab spider. And I was lucky enough to track it down in New Zealand, and when Sam saw it, he really liked it. And so we used this as one of our spider candidates in the movie. And I'll have him climb up to the top. And you'll see he'll wave to you. One wave to the camera. Oops. We'll have him go down to the brush side and wave to you from there. And wave to the come on, get up there. Wave a little bit. Okay. The most amazing thing about these spiders is that they live in cracks and crevices. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take it, put it in my hand, and then I'm going to put my hands together. And when I open up my hands, you'll see where the spider is. Oops, and put them and do it again until it's set. And then to make it move, all I have to do is just tap it, and it's off again. So this is a really active spider, a harmless spider, and a very good moving spider. And actually, it crawls just like Spider-Man. He can walk up walls. I'll put him on this glass and you'll see he'll be able to climb up. He can climb up a vertical wall just like Spider-Man. So when I got a call to do the movie Spider-Man, I immediately thought of this spider, because if there's one spider that can crawl up anything, it's this one. The original spider, when I first saw the drawings, I had to try to duplicate a drawing that it was the artist's concept of what the spider should look like for Spider-Man. And I tried to come up with that, and one of the ways we tried was by putting on prosthetics, and another way we tried was by painting. And when we showed these options to Sam Raimi, the director, he decided on one with makeup, and that's what we did. We went with a specific design. When you put makeup on, not only do you have to use the right type, but you can't just put it on anywhere. You have to be aware of their breathing holes. Spiders have their breathing holes on the underneath side, right about here, and the makeup was put on the top, so it wouldn't hurt the spider at all. We used this is a painted Black Widow, and when we were done, you can see the paint came off. Hear that? Since it was wintertime and spiders were hard to come by, one of the options would be mounting up spiders. So I mounted up some spiders. These are live spiders with some prosthetics on them, and thinking, well, maybe we could lower them down on a string, or maybe you could take a rubber spider, a small rubber spider, and lower that down on a string for biting. But the trouble with that is it looks like a rubber spider that's being lowered down on a string. There's no movement, and so it looks a lot better using live spiders. There wasn't that many takes, less than a dozen, because I did not do this alone. I had 4 assistants, Michelle, Matt, and Maya. and all of them were very helpful. And what they would do is they would bring over the rack of spiders like this. And this is also how we kept the spider. So if we needed a spider, all we'd have to do is pull it out. This one. Pull it out of its little cup device. The spider stays in the top, and then I would have them test each spider before they handed it to me so that I knew that the spider was ready to web. And then I would take the spider and web it down and try to make it hit Toby's hand. And that was a challenge too. I can't say enough to thank the web makers, Robin, Mike, and the property crew, and some of the other people who helped out, as well as Sam's direction, because they were the ones that guided me. I like to consider myself as having some talent, but having that guidance is helpful, so I know the direction to go. Sometimes they made it a little challenging, but I tried to give them options so that they could choose the best spiders. Toby was fun to work with. I had to reassure him about spiders, especially when the spider came down on his hand. He was a little nervous about that. I always tell people exactly what's going to happen, what the risks are, and he went for it, and it turned out fine. The lady who played the tour guide in the genetics lab came to me a number of times to ask for the proper pronunciation for spiders, the names of the spiders, and some information about spiders. So it was helpful for me to be there just to answer those kinds of questions. And if anyone else had a question as to something about a spider, it was also good for me to be there for that. So it's really important. It's a good idea to have a consultant. And when you have a movie about Spider-Man, it's a good idea to have somebody who's a spider expert on the movie. And I like to tell people I'm the Spider-Man behind Spider-Man. Well, in this version of Spider-Man, it takes place in a genetics lab where they actually take different species of spiders and they remove their DNA and combine and make a new super spider that has a lot of these traits. That spider gets loose in the genetics lab, and unfortunately, or fortunately, Peter Parker gets bitten by it. I got a call from Robin Williams, who is the property master, an excellent man, and he said that they were looking at getting some spiders for Spider-Man. And he also mentioned that they had tried out some tarantulas, and Sam didn't want any tarantulas. And so I came in and I did a show and tell. I've been interested in insects and arachnids ever since I was 3 years old. I went on and got my master's degree studying insect behavior. I started working in the film industry around 1977 or 78, and I have a tremendous number of films and commercials and things I've done. Some of the things I've done have been to release 1,000 butterflies at a wedding, to have 6,000 beetles come out of a man's chest, to make a spider crawl into a slipper from 4 feet away in one try, to make a cockroach run across the floor for a foot and then flip over on its back. So these are the kinds of specialties I have. So when Spider-Man called, I was really excited. I said, this is a movie I should be doing.